downtown Gainesville. It's the Martha Zoller Show. Talking the issues and filling in for Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Welcome, 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 welcome. I am so happy to be with you today. I am Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. She'll be back on Monday. Just wanted to say hello to you and tell you that I don't want you to miss the opening segment. Now, I love my callers, all of our callers, 770-535-2911, 770-535-2911. You can call or text that. But look, I got to ask your permission. I'm going to do a very quick welcome, and then we're going to take our first break a little early. And then I have put together for you my thoughts, my analysis, my commentary on Epic Fury. As Roosevelt said, the WOA. And I've worked hard to put this together for you. And so I'm going to do it without taking a break for callers or text for the first 30 minutes. So we'll take our callers and our texters at 9:35-ish. So just bear with me. I don't want you to miss any of this. Because as I come back, I'm going to talk to you about my commentary, my analysis on Epic Fury, the WOA. And I'm going to do it by sharing with you one of the most pathetic things said, one of the dumbest things said, the most pot calling the kettle black thing said, the most accurate thing said, the most frustrating thing said, the most sensible thing said, and the most important question to ask. That's what's coming with my commentary and analysis of Epic Fury. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be truthful, it's going to be entertaining, and it's going to be accurate. And when you get done, you'll be informed, very well informed. So call a friend, warm up your coffee, get your dog on the leash, whatever you need to do, because we're going to talk about Epic Fury. Probably in a way like no one else has done it. I think differently than a lot of people, the way I organize my thoughts. And so I put together some stuff for you I really think you'll enjoy and you need to hear. So please call a friend. Hey, say, Dr. Tom's on the radio. You got to listen. Because coming up next, we're going to talk about Epic Fury. But before we do that, let's do something that always makes our hearts feel warm. It is our kiddos.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, kids. That's a wonderful job. Well done. Now, I want you to stay with me because I'm going to tell you the truth about Epic Fury. You won't like it. Some of you will not like it. Some of you will not like it. I get it. You can text me or call me at 9:30 and tell me why you didn't like what I said, why you don't agree with my commentary and my analysis. I get it. Fine. Do that. 9:35, give me a text, give me a call. But right now, when we come back, I'm going to tell you the truth about Epic Fury. Let me just remind you of this important comment. Just chew on this for a moment before we come back. Just chew on this. These are the words of Vice President Pence. Goes back a while. Do you remember during the 2020 vice presidential debate, he said to Kamala Harris, Miss Vice President, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Did you get that? You're entitled to your own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Well, that's what I'm going to tell you when we get back. I'm going to give you the facts and the truth about Epic Fury, the WOA that we're presently engaged in. So you stay tuned. This is Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. Don't you miss it. We'll be right back.
It's the news that affects you and the talk that keeps you listening.
We'll continue on with additional discussions today as we stay engaged.
North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Something new is coming to your neighborhood. This April, Exchange Bank is opening in Brazelton. I'm Anna Hollis, and for over 122 years, we've been Middle Georgia's community bank, offering our personalized service and our commitment to being a place where community matters. Now we're bringing that same commitment to Brazelton. We can't wait to be your neighbor and help your financial dreams grow. Learn more at exch.bank. Exchange Bank, member FDIC.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day. Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
You already know Gainesville Mechanical for their award-winning HVAC service, but did you know they handle plumbing too? Because plumbing problems never happen at a good time, you need a trusted, experienced team there when they do. From small leaks to major repairs, Gainesville Mechanical is here for you with 24/7 no overtime rates through their customer assurance maintenance plan. Proud to be named Best of Hall for HVAC and plumbing, Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep North Georgia cool since 1989.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, an apartment fire Wednesday night in Norcross has displaced 16 residents. Details at Access WDUN. More news coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
All right, you can go to YouTube, check out Access WDUN, and you can watch us live and in person. So you can do that. Go to YouTube, Access WDUN, click on the camera button, and you can see yours truly live in action. All right, let's begin. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you some commentary. I'm going to give you some analysis. I doubt that you've heard some of this, but you know what? You're going to hear it today. Let me begin by saying this. The Iranian regime is a cancer. Are you with me? It is a cancer. And in my opinion, Trump is the chemo and the radiation protecting us. Other presidents, Barack Hussein Obama, Bush, Clinton, Biden, other presidents have been like those doctors that some of your family have gone to who have discovered a tumor in your body, and they say, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to watch it for a little while. How many times have you heard that? Oh, there's something suspicious there on your lung, or there's something suspicious there on your kidney, something suspicious there, so we're going to watch it for a... That's what every president prior to Donald J. Trump has done with this cancerous tumor we call the Iranian regime. They just want to watch it. I'm telling you today that the USA has set very clear military objectives. I don't care what the woke Democrat, Marxist, socialist, communist Democrats say. They're lying to you, and they know they're lying. They've heard, many of them, the most intricate intelligence briefings. They know the cancer of this regime. They understand it. But they've chosen party and power over the country. The U.S. has clear objectives. There's no doubt about it. The president has used speed. He's used aggression to take out this cancer. Exactly what I want my doctor to do. And it makes me very proud to know that one president finally has decided to do something other than, well, let's just watch it. We've been shaped by years of appeasement appeasement of Barack Hussein Obama, appeasement of Biden, appeasement of George Bush, appeasement of Clinton. Have you ever seen the bully who wants your milk money be appeased? No, they always want your lunch money, and then they want your bus fare, and then they want your bicycle. That's what bullies do. I understand why many of you are confused. I get it. It frustrates me that some of you are so confused about this, even some of you who are not the progressive, woke, communist, social Marxist. I realize that some of you are confused because you've been lulled to sleep. You've been lulled to sleep. You've been led to believe that by appeasing the bully and giving away your milk money, the bully is happy and everything will be fine, but we know that's not the case. Now, to continue my commentary and my analysis, let me continue by sharing with you what John Kennedy recently said. Torched. He made a great comment about the Iranian regime leader's death. And I think it's good for me to start off with this sound clip for you.
Sean, in the words of Congresswoman Omar, I love you like a brother. And I want you to understand I'm not trying to dodge your question. I just want to answer it in a little different way. I don't hate anyone, but I will shed no tears for the Ayatollah Khomeini. He won the coin toss, and he elected to receive. And boy, did he receive. May he rest in pieces. He died with the with the blood of millions of people under his fingernails. Number two, to defeat your adversaries in today's world, you have to have military power, but it takes more than military power. You have to have political will. I have watched 5, 6, 7 presidents refuse to stand up to the Ayatollah. President Trump has. He's got political will. He's got oranges. And like him or dislike him, the world is safer today because of what he has done. Number three, any fair-minded person has to believe that the people running Iran are religious zealots. They are nuts. Any fair-minded person has to believe, has to know that Iran was never going to stop its quest to get a nuclear weapon. Any fair-minded person has to conclude that if the religious zealots, who are 10 exits past normal, ever get a nuclear warhead, they're going to use it. I don't want America to be the world's policeman. I don't want the religious nuts in Iran to be either. And that's why we did not start a war. We're trying to stop a war. The president is trying to end a war. And it all centers around preventing them from getting a nuclear weapon and the missile technology to deliver it. There's some good people who disagree with what the president has done. I understand that. But if they could have heard what I heard in a classified briefing today from General Kane, from Secretary Rubio, Secretary Hegseth, Director Ratcliffe, in the bowels beneath the Senate in our secure room, they would conclude what I have concluded. I don't know how this will end, but we had to do it. We had to do it, and I thank Donald Trump for doing that.
I don't know how you can say it any plainer. And the sad thing is, there are some of his colleagues who heard that same identical top secret briefing and who, because they've chosen party and power over country, they're acting like a bunch of idiots. I'm not sure if anything is going to make you change your mind. I doubt anything I say today is going to help you change your mind. Because the core of the criticism of Epic Fury, listen to me now, the core of the criticism of Epic Fury is the hatred that Democrats have for Donald J. Trump. Period. End of sentence. That's the core of the criticism. And until they can move beyond party and power over country, it's not going to change. They remind me of Golden Meir in Israel when she said about the Israeli-Arab conflict. She said, until Arab moms start loving their children more than they hate Jewish children, things will not change. And that's exactly what's happening with these Democrats, these Marxist, socialist, progressive, woke Democrats. And you know who you are. The core of your criticism is your hatred for Donald Trump. I want to ask you this question as we talk about this. What has worked? What has worked in the past, these last 4 presidencies or more, since 1979? What has worked? Nothing has worked. Sanctions haven't worked. Negotiations haven't worked. Threats haven't worked. Now, I want to talk to you about some things that have been said. So you follow with me now, because here it comes. Let me give you one of the most pathetic things I've heard about Epic Fury and this war on Iran.
At 10 countries that did not attack them. Long-standing British position is that the best way forward for the regime and the world is a negotiated settlement with Iran where they give up their nuclear ambitions.
Stop the tape. That has to be one of the most pathetic things I've heard in the whole context of this discussion of Epic Fury. The British Prime Minister lecturing us on what will work that hasn't worked. Are you a lunatic, sir? Are you just an absolute lunatic? Do you not understand? Have you not seen history? Negotiations have not worked. These people have said we're not giving up our dream of a nuclear weapon, period. Mr. Prime Minister, you are pathetic in that statement. Now let's move on from one of the most pathetic things I've heard said to one of the most dumb things I've heard. Maybe the dumbest thing I've heard.
Couple things quickly, Sean. Number one, Governor Tim Walz. Whatever he says, believe the opposite. I'm sorry, the man.
Okay, that was a mistake. The dumbest thing that has been said is the Iranian foreign minister, when asked about the possibility of ground troops, which nobody's mentioned that but progressive, liberal, woke, communist Democrats. But when asked about ground troops, American ground troops, the Iranian prime minister said the regime is waiting for us. Are you serious? Sir, you must be a lunatic. You're waiting for the most powerful country in the universe to ramp it up? Yes, you are crazy. That's one of the most that's the dumbest thing I've heard. I can't believe that. Well, these people lie. They all lie. They're all liars. These Iranian propagandists. You can't believe a thing they say. They're liars. Now, here's something that really is the pot calling the kettle black. So here is a foreign ministry spokesman for China. And you will not believe what this spokeswoman says about how we need to move forward, how China needs to assist us and the world in moving forward.
I just feel like I need to respond to some things that the senator was bringing up by accusing the president of pulling out of a nuclear deal in his first term. It was a horrible deal. It was a disastrous deal. It was a deal that we all know that would originally allow Iran to be able to have enrichment to the grade that they could make a nuclear weapon. And then for the senator that was saying that the president needs to come back for reauthorization, I don't remember him saying anything in 2016 when Barack Obama at the time dropped 26,000 bombs in Syria, Pakistan, Libya, just to name a few.
And let me continue that thought, Senator. Obama, Bush, Clinton invaded 9 countries in 23 years. They killed over 11 million civilians, and I don't recall them being accused of being a war criminal. Now here comes China with the pot calling the kettle black, and China, the foreign ministry spokeswoman in China said, well, you know what? War and force cannot solve issues once and for all. This is what the China prime minister said. Can you believe it? Go tell the Uyghurs that. Some of you don't even know who the Uyghurs are. The Uyghurs are a group of people in China who have been confined to work camps and prison torture and extermination. These Uyghurs, you ought to go look it up. They've been killed, mutilated, raped, assaulted, exterminated by China. And they have the gall to come in here now and tell us that what we need to do is resolve this with discussions. No one's discussing anything with the Uyghurs over in China. They're just killing them. These people are all lunatics. You need to pay attention to who you're listening to. I'm telling you the truth today. You may not like Trump. You may not like this war. You may not like anything about anything, but I'm telling you, you may be entitled to your own opinions, but you are not entitled to your own facts. And what I'm telling you today is factual. When China comes over here and when China begins to lecture us on negotiating when we have differences, and they're one of the worst regimes of persecution and torture and killing and mutilation and genocide, and you just go right along and listen to that and say, oh yeah, you're right, China. They're all liars. Pay attention to who you listen to. Listen to me. I'll tell you the truth. I am Tom Smiley. I'll be right back on the Martha Zoller Show.
Medicare can be confusing, but you don't have to navigate it alone. Legacy Link's Georgia Ship Certified Medicare counselors are here to help with free, unbiased guidance. Call us today at 706-622-2399. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $131,810 with 100% funding by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by, ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Have you ever been at your wit's end over your identity? Hi, this is Whit Martin, pastor of Asbury Chapel. Life takes us through ups and downs, testing and challenging who we are and even who we think we are. Identities can seem to fluctuate, which means there is a bit of trying things out. But when our identities are grounded in Jesus Christ, we discover our true selves, and with that comes confidence and peace. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. To be in Christ means to find ourselves through God and not through anything else, not through interests, hobbies, passions, or desires. To be in Christ is for something new to come, something that is from God. I invite you to search God's Word and see that God has more for you than who you think you are. And let God reveal to you who you are in Him. And that is Wit's End. Asbury Chapel invites you to learn more by joining us at 758 Main Street or visit asburychapel.net for more info.
3 straight for Tyler Reddick. He gets it done here at Austin, Texas.
I don't know how many times I've won 3 in a row as a racer in general in my lifetime, so I'll try to go to Phoenix and make it 4.
Will he make it a 4-peat? We'll find out at the Straight Talk Wireless 500 in Phoenix, Sunday at 2:30 on North Georgia's home of NASCAR. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. Bunker busting in Iran. 50 Israeli jets pounding the bunker once used by the dead Ayatollah to dispatch other Iranian leaders hiding there, while the U.S. sank an Iranian drone mothership. CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper says we're turning Iran's attack drone technology back on them.
This was an original Iranian drone design.
We captured it, pulled the guts out, sent it back to America, put a little Made America on it, brought it back here, and we're shooting it at the Iranians.
Defense contractors called to the White House about boosting U.S. missile production, and with oil prices surging, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles reported urging Trump advisors for ideas to bring down the price of gas up over 30 cents in a week. Rough Labor Department report just in, surprise plunge in jobs, 92,000 lost in February, and the unemployment rate ticks up to 4.4%. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held this week to celebrate the official grand opening of the new Gainesville Public Safety Training Complex. The approximately 15-acre campus with 15,000 square feet of training space will serve as a centralized hub shared by the Gainesville Fire and Police Departments along with other city departments. Outdoor images of the training complex are found at Access WDUN. An apartment fire Wednesday night in Norcross has left 16 people displaced. WDUN's Caleb Hutchins reports.
Gwinnett County Fire and Emergency Services responded just after 10 p.m. to reports of heavy smoke at the Huntington Ridge Apartments. Units found smoke coming from a lower-level unit of a two-story apartment building and began helping residents evacuate, deploying multiple fire hoses to attack the flames. Firefighters safely evacuated 20 people and brought the blaze under control at around 10:30 p.m.
No injuries were reported. And any bills being considered by Georgia lawmakers will need to pass at least one chamber by today in order to stay alive this session, as today is crossover day with the Georgia General Assembly. Legislation that does not pass by today will more than likely not have a chance at moving forward until next year. You can find more news and details online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN Friday forecast.
Good morning, North Georgia. Partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. It's going to be a warm one, 80 degrees. Scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms tonight, low 60s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Demarest, currently 65 degrees. In Winder, 67. And in Gainesville, 66 degrees. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
You're helping the kids with homework, answering work emails, trying to get dinner on the table, all while fielding calls about your parents' doctor's appointments, medications, and memory concerns. Are you stretched thin caring for young children while also trying to support your aging parents? If the answer is yes, you're part of the sandwich generation. Millions of people are in the same boat. You're trying to be everything to everyone, and it is exhausting. Hi, I'm Robin Lacrimosa, Life Care Coordinator at Kimbrough Law. We help families in the sandwich generation manage these difficult situations with compassion, clarity, and confidence. Because when your loved one's health deteriorates, it creates more than just medical problems. It creates housing problems, financial problems, and legal problems. Who has to solve these problems? You do. Fortunately, you don't have to do this alone. Kimbrough Law can help. Call 706-850-6910 or visit kimbroughslaw.net to schedule a consultation.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Tom Smiley filling in for you, Martha, today. Thank you so very much for listening. To summarize, Donald J. Trump and our marvelous military, they are removing a cancer. They are the chemotherapy and the radiation. They are removing this tumor, while other, quote, doctors, unquote, have wanted to sit back and watch it. And many of us know what happens when you sit back and watch it. It's a tumor. This Iranian regime, they are a fanatic, lunatic, barbaric group of mainly men, old men, young men who hate civilization. They're barbaric. They're thugs. They're murderers. They are a cancer, and Donald J. Trump, whether you like it or not, is removing the cancer, and the U.S. military and Israel, they are the chemo and the radiation. That's the truth about Epic Fury, ladies and gentlemen. You can like it or lump it. Tell me what's worked. Tell me what's worked up to this past Friday. Did negotiations work? Did paying them off with pallets of cash work? Did sanctions work? I've been sharing with you some things said about Epic Fury, the pathetic thing said from the British Prime Minister, who says we need to sit back and negotiate some type of agreement. We've been trying that, Mr. Prime Minister, since 1979. The dumbest thing said was the Iranian official who says, okay, we're just waiting for the ground attack, and then we're going to get serious. What an idiot. The most pot calling the kettle thing back is when the Chinese foreign minister spokesman comes and says to us, let's pull back and negotiate. Let's talk about this. Nothing is solved with all of this conflict. Really? China is saying that. One of the most murderous regimes in the history of our world. Just in one instance, millions of Uyghurs killed and exterminated. That's just the pot calling the kettle black. Doesn't make any sense. The most accurate thing said, I want to give you this. This is Mullins, who basically is reminding us about what other people have done and how what we're doing now is the right thing.
Thank you, Chairman. I just feel like I need to respond to some things that the senator was bringing up by accusing the president of pulling out of a nuclear deal in his first term. It was a horrible deal. It was a disastrous deal. It was a deal that we all know that would originally allow Iran to be able to have enrichment to the grade that they could make a nuclear weapon. And then for the senator that was saying that the president needs to come back for reauthorization, I don't remember him saying anything in 2016 when Barack Obama at the time dropped 26,000 bombs in Syria, Pakistan, Libya, just to name a few. And I definitely don't remember my colleagues in 2013 at all complaining about the president then Barack Obama, going into Syria. And I would like to ask the question then, what threat did Syria have to the United States? What threat did Libya have to the United States during the Arab Spring to which these leaders were removed? And then
So that's one of the most accurate things said. That's one of the most accurate things. And by the way, to be accurate, Obama, Bush, Clinton invaded 9 countries over 23 years, killing 11 million civilians. Now, here's one of the most. I'm wrapping this up because we got callers waiting. I got Dr. Young coming in at 10. But I want to finish this because I put it together for you. Here's one of the most frustrating things I believe I've heard in this whole time.
A very unexpected thing happened, though. Kamala Harris condemned the action. Roll it.
Donald Trump has dragged us into a war the American people do not want. He has put American troops in harm's way. I unequivocally oppose this war of choice, and everyone should.
This woman has such a limited intellectual capacity in my estimation. I'm from my observation. And it may be inaccurate, but I'm just saying my observation. She has a very limited intellectual capacity for her to sit here and say he has dragged us into a war. That's just one of the most frustrating. How do we get past this kind of stuff when people say such frustrating, stupid stuff? All right, we're about finished. Here's one of the most sensible things I've heard regarding Epic Fury. Listen.
Democrats running out of the briefing and screaming that this is a forever war and it's only Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wanted to say that I watched like the highlights that you showed, especially the ship getting blown out of the water. Now, I remember the Iranian generals were saying that our ships were going to end at the bottom of the ocean, and that's theirs. Like, look at that again. It's on the screen right now. Boom. Like, I love it. So I don't know why we can't be on and just celebrate that. But I guarantee you, every single member of the Congress that you just had there said we can never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear bomb. And now that that's happened now, and now it's made that impossible right now. And then we all agree. They all now say, well, we won't grieve, that the Ayatollah is gone. So, when someone did that and made sure that possible, why can't we as a Democrat just say, hey, I think that's a good thing. I think that the world's safer. I think it's more just. And then I do think we have a possible path for real, true, enduring peace in the region.
That's John Fetterman, one of the most sensible things said. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, all we heard from the Democrats is that Trump needed to do something about Maduro, that he must be in bed with the Russians and the Chinese and the Venezuelans because he's not doing anything about Maduro. And then when he does something about Maduro, he gets crucified over it. And then we've heard the Democrats for years and years and years agree Iran must not have a nuclear weapon. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And when someone steps up to do something about it, they get criticized and crucified. John Fetterman is right. Why can't you just celebrate the fact that this is good? Khomeini is dead. May he rest in pieces. He's gone, along with many of his 40 top generals. Why can't you celebrate that? That's a very sensible thing, and I appreciate Fetterman's courage. He'll be primaried, and he could probably lose the Democratic nomination. But he is sensible in this regard. All right, here's the final one, the most important question that has to be asked.
I think there'd be a huge hue and outcry and huge marches in the streets. Iran does it, and there really isn't that result in the progressive community. What do you make of that?
Look, in 1979, progressives the world over, including in Iran, were all too willing to sacrifice women's rights, LGBTQ rights, and every other basic human right at the altar of anti-imperialism. Are we going to do the same in this moment? Are we really caring more about whose hands are on the trigger? Or are we going to care about human lives, civilian lives? This is a regime that has violated human rights, international law, has wreaked havoc on the region, domestic oppression, transnational repression, hostage diplomacy, destabilizing the region, and now it's killing fellow Muslims in neighboring countries.
Where are the college protests? Where are they? That's an important question. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm sorry it took a little longer than I thought. But the point is, that's a pretty good analysis and summary of epic fury, this war that we're engaged in. All right, we're going to take a phone call because I know you've been waiting. I'm very sorry. But now it's your turn. If you want to call me, you can. I've had my turn. 770-535-2911. That's the number. Or you can text. I've got a couple of texts. I'll read those in a moment. But let's go to the phones before we take our next break. Welcome, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning, friend.
I want to tell the Prime Minister one thing. He needs to look at his own backyard. The Muslims are taking over England at a rapid rate. Now we're going to transition to our backyard. Todd Starnes has been preaching this for a while. The Muslims are taking over small territories, and they're using our freedom of religion against us. And the atheists have been doing it for a while, separation of church and state. We got to be cognizant that these people are coming in here. They're setting up these borders and churches and mosques, and it's scary. I want to hear your thoughts as a minister.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Steve. And I'll tell you, my thoughts are simply this. There are places in Dearborn, Michigan, where the police and fire department and first responders will not enter because of the Muslim conclaves that are there. And as far as my opinion about the Muslim Islamic religion, in my opinion, this is Tom Smiley's opinion. This is not the radio station's opinion. This is not Martha's opinion. This is not the producer's. This is my opinion. So take it for that. I believe that Islam is one of the most corrupt, evil religions in the whole world, period. End of story. That's my opinion. Now, you can like it or not. I'm just saying. If you do any investigation, any reading, and let me just be very, very frank, the God of Islam is not the God of Christianity or Judaism. That is a big fat lie. So you pick. I think Joshua said that one time. Choose today who you'll serve. The God of this, the God of that, the God of this, or the one true God. I'm telling you, that's my opinion. You asked me, I'm telling you. All right, we'll take a phone call real quick. Another phone call before we go to the break. I know you've been waiting. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Dr. Tom. This is Dr. Tom. I'm in the vision business, and so this is sort of how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to and read what Iran has done to Americans. Killed them, maimed them, tortured them, whatever, since 1979. So if you haven't done that, people out there, do so. Then you will understand that we did not start this war. Now, the second thing is everybody on the left is crazy. Now, there's a subset of the crazies, and those are the ghouls. You got the ghouls, the fools, and the tools. The ghouls are those who really believe this stuff is the right thing to do. But if you are following a tyrannical methodology, whether it's just a dictator or if it's a communism or socialist philosophy, you're crazy because you actually believe there's something good about those systems. So that's the whole left is crazy for those reasons. And the word left in Latin is sinister, which means sneaky and evil. Now, God gave us the Latin language at some point, and if we just look at things, try to keep things as simple and as straightforward as we can, I think the word sinister really helps explain everything. Sneaky and evil, and so they'll do anything that helps their cause. So these people that are standing out against it, they are all crazy because they believe in a system that's nuts and bad and harmful to humanity. But they're ghoulish because they believe that they should do anything to implement those systems. So that's my summary, Tom, of where we are, and those people that stand out there and come and a ceasefire. Ceasefire? What do we want? 50 more years of the same craziness? And while Iran locks and reloads? I mean, that's the same, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, as we all know, is the definition of insanity. Thank you for allowing me on the air.
Great call. I'm going to address that when we come back. You made several great points, and I'm going to address when we come back what Iran is waiting for. It's very clear. Raise your hand if you know what I'm about to say. I see that hand. I see that hand. Some of you know what I'm about to say. When I come back, I'll tell you what they're waiting for. We have Tom, another call, 2 or 3 callers waiting, and we also have some texts I'll get to in just a minute. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show.
What you see is what you get. I call it like I see it. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We have always believed that on this radio program.
It's Todd Starnes, weekdays at noon on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Hi, this is Cal Cooley with Electronic Sales Company, and joining me today is Charlie Bramwell, Director of Interactive Neighborhood for Kids, better known as Inc. around here. When we help move your burglar alarm, fire alarm, cameras, and all the other things, I had no idea how impressive and big Inc. has become. Where's your new location?
We moved to Oakwood, the center of Oakwood.
Got anything special coming up?
Yes, sir. We have several new exhibits coming in within the next month or two. The Department of Transportation is putting in some roads for us. We're talking to the FAA about bringing some monitors in so kids can actually see real-life flights. We have an extremely nice train exhibit. And yesterday, we was donated a train console from an actual train. We're going to refurbish it and put it next to the train exhibit so kids can actually be the train conductor and move levers and valves.
I am so excited. Everybody, you need to go down there to Inc. in Oakwood.
Your community partner in protection, Electronic Sales Company. See them today online at electronicsalesco.com.
I've been thinking a lot lately about the word contentment.
I see a lot of people who are trying to find contentment. God's Word has a lot to say about contentment. Psalm 17:15 says, "But for me, my contentment is not in wealth, but it is in seeing you and knowing all is well between us. And when I awake in heaven, I will be fully satisfied, for I will see you face to face." True contentment comes from knowing Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." This is Mike Martin from Milton Martin Toyota, the oldest Toyota dealership in Georgia. Visit us at miltonmartintoyota.com or exit 17 off 985. We're ready to serve you.
Spring is calling. Are you ready to grow? At Full Bloom Nursery, we're kicking off the spring season with 5 acres of perennial shrubs and trees, all ready for your next outdoor project. This is Julie. I'd like to invite you to come experience the difference of a true nursery. Take a stroll through our display gardens and let our knowledgeable staff help you choose the perfect plant for your space. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 2. Learn more at fullbloomnursery.com and follow us on Facebook to see what's growing.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Duluth City Police say a female driver dies from a crash off of Abbotsbridge Road on Tuesday. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, we have fired it up, and our producer over there, he's working with he's overstressing over here. He's overstressing the extraordinary producer. But we're getting everybody on. We got calls waiting. We got texts waiting. We'll go straight back to the line. I'll tell you when I come back what Iran is waiting for. You don't want to miss that because it's accurate. It's accurate. But let's go to the phone calls first. Welcome. You're on the Martha Zoller Show. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Tom, and thank you for your wise words and wisdom. Remember, Allah, Wallah, and Wudu. Calm, cool hands prevail. When angered, go and stay calm and wash your hands with water. Of course, Muslim and Muhammad was perverted into killing a simple angel, of messenger of knowledge. And they shot Malcolm in a church in front of his wife and kids and laid in the street, wait for an ambulance when the hospital was across the street. They're wicked and insidious and think killing and blowing up people is an expression of religion and a demand for doctrine. They're insidious and crazy. And Miss Kamala, who calls herself the mask, when you say this war we don't want us in, you're the same people who said, Mr. President, build that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they don't get a nuclear weapon unless President Trump's doing it. Then it's the opposite, because they have forked tongues and litigious and lecherous agendas. They don't speak of the words of the wise. They make no sense. They sound and look wicked. And if a government that kills thousands of its protesters and tortures and jails the people who supported them is a government, then we're all done. And let's look at the one simple war that we're witnessing to end all wars. What happened when we went in there? They attacked everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
When have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Like you just said, it's USAID. It's terror-sponsored through the hidden hand of evil and darkness of our tax dollars and supporting an agenda for selling weapons to both sides and no bid costs plus cleanup contracts. They are dark, they're demented, and their days are done. They're a scourge in humanity, and I'm going to wipe you from the face of the earth.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom, Georgia, and God bless America and all the will of the people. We have people who do what's right for free, and they have people who do what's wrong for money. My people are everywhere. Do the math.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. And we got a couple more minutes. I want to get this other phone call. You've been waiting so patiently. Thank you. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Thanks for calling.
Hello, how you doing, Mr. Tom?
Go ahead.
My problem is Trump got all y'all bamboozled.
Okay.
We need to get rid of him now. He's just messing up the economy, and that's my part. And I'm gone.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Appreciate that. So Trump's got us all bamboozled, and he's messing up the economy. Okay. All right. I understand. I reckon there's no comment about Joe Biden's 9.5% inflation, $5 a gasoline, selling out to the Green New scam. But that's your opinion, and welcome. Thank you for sharing it. Let me tell you what Iran is waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. I got about 45 seconds, right, producer? Let me tell you what Iran is waiting for. Raise your hand if you know. Raise your hand. I see that hand. I see that hand. Okay, I think you may be right. Iran is waiting for America to pull back, for us to say, okay, that's enough, for the Democrats and the socialists and the Marxists in our government to create enough heat that President Trump will say, okay, we can't do any more. And they're just waiting for that to happen. And they're waiting for a new administration. Because the administrations they've had in the past have worked right into their game plan. Appeasement, 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 appeasement. And that's worked for Iran. Now, this is my only concern. I'm hoping, I'm trusting, I'm believing that President Trump, Hetzleth, and all the others are not going to quit until it's done. Other presidents have quit too early in these times of things. You go back to George Patton. You remember when George Patton got in trouble for saying we ought to just move on into Russia? You remember that? And he got demoted for that. The point is, we can't stop. This regime has got to be completely crushed. They've got to be crushed. And then the people of Iran have got to take over. But if they don't, okay, fine. That's their business. When they start building it back up and doing the same old thing, we'll go crush them again. Which is what Bush should have done to Saddam Hussein. Instead of going over there and creating a nation-building war, he should have just sent the SEALs over there to take out Saddam like Trump did Maduro, and leave a note on the desk that read, okay, get you somebody else, but if he does the same thing, we'll be back. Talking about being back, I will in just a moment. You stay tuned. This is Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha Zoller.
Some car dealers want to sell you a car. At Hardy Chevrolet, we'd rather help you find the vehicle that's right for you. This is Mike Cormier. We call it the Hardy Chevrolet difference. Since you're the one who will be in the driver's seat of that new Chevy, we think you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to making the selection. It's like Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
President Trump calls for Iran to unconditionally surrender. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. More on that in a moment. First, more economic concern amid the Iran conflict as oil prices keep surging, up about 10% today, and stocks keep dropping. The Dow plunging more than 800 points. And adding to the concern, this morning's jobs report. Instead of an expected increase in hiring, there was more firing.
The U.S. economy lost 92,000 jobs in February, and the unemployment rate rose to 4.4%. Also, revisions to December and January reveal 69,000 fewer fewer jobs created than previously reported.
That's Fox's Jenny Castolo. Now, the price of oil is at almost $89 a barrel. Last Friday, it was $65. The price of the gas pump up 33 cents in 4 days. Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells Fox that's temporary.
Iran has been an escalator of energy prices 47 years, the whole history of their regime. We've got a little bit of an interruption right now to finally put an end to their ability to wreak havoc.
Back to the president. Fox's Jackie Heinrichs at the White House.
He posted to Truth Social, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leader or leaders, we and many of our wonderful and brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction.
This as the U.S. and Israel continue to bombard Iran a seventh day, knocking out an Iranian drone carrier and missile launchers as Iran keeps sending missiles into Israel that are shot down. The president also told CNN this morning Cuba is going to fall pretty soon. Another Republican plans to leave Congress. And Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports this one's in scandal.
Congressman Tony Gonzalez says in a social media post, after deep reflection and with the support of his family, he's decided not to seek re-election, but will serve out the rest of his term. Some Republican House members had pressured him to end his re-election bid after he admitted to having an affair with a staffer who later committed suicide.
Gonzalez was facing a May primary runoff in Texas against a Republican challenger. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN. From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. A driver was killed in a single-vehicle wreck Tuesday in Duluth. WDUN's William Daughtry reports.
Duluth police say 62-year-old Benita Daphne Ingram Logan was traveling eastbound on Abbott's Bridge Road when her vehicle briefly moved toward the center line, then veered abruptly to the right. The vehicle then traveled down an embankment approximately 20 to 30 feet, striking a tree before coming to a final rest. Investigators believe Ingram Logan experienced a medical emergency prior to the crash. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
An apartment fire Wednesday night in Norcross has left 16 people displaced. WDUN's Caleb Hutchins with more.
Gwinnett County Fire and Emergency Services responded just after 10 p.m. to reports of heavy smoke at the Huntington Ridge Apartments. Units found smoke coming from a lower-level unit of a two-story apartment building and began helping residents evacuate, deploying multiple fire hoses to attack the flames. Firefighters safely evacuated 20 people and brought the blaze under control at around 10:30 p.m. No injuries were reported from the fire. The American Red Cross is working with property management to assist displaced residents. Firefighters reported the cause of the fire to be accidental.
Residents of Northeast Georgia are being warned of scams claiming to be from the state of Georgia or the Atlanta Municipal Court about a parking violation. WDUN's Hamilton Keener explains.
The Rabun County and Habersham County Sheriff's offices said the scammers request victims to scan a QR code to pay a fine. Authorities said the notice is not legitimate and are advising residents not to scan the QR code, send money, or share any personal information. Those who may receive one of these notices should disregard it and inform others of this scam.
And the City of Gainesville's public safety departments now have a modern, state-of-the-art training complex that's available for multi-purpose training. WDUN's Lawson Smith with reports.
The City of Gainesville's leaders and dignitaries held a ribbon-cutting ceremony Monday to celebrate the official grand opening of its new public safety training complex. Police Chief Jay Parrish, Fire Chief Brandon Ellis, and City Manager Brian Lackey joined the city councilors and groups behind the complex's construction in opening the Fluenwinder Road facility at the Gainesville 85 Business Park.
15,000 square foot building holds 4 classrooms, multi-purpose rooms for meetings, and support staff offices. More details and more news are found at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good morning, North Georgia. Partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. It's going to be a warm one, 80 degrees. Scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms tonight, low 60s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Blairsville, 65 degrees. In Sugar Hill, 70. And in Gainesville, 68. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day. Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
Something new is coming to your neighborhood. This April, Exchange Bank is opening in Brazelton.
I'm Anna Hollis, and for over 122 years, we've been Middle Georgia's community bank, offering our personalized service and our commitment to being a place where community matters. Now we're bringing that same commitment to Brazelton. We can't wait to be your neighbor and help your financial dreams grow. Learn more at exch.bank. Exchange Bank, member FDIC.
From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show. Talking the issues and filling in for Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Yes, it is Tom Smiley filling in for Martha today. I'll be back next Friday. Martha will be with you Monday, so I know you look forward to hearing from her. I got my friend in the studio now. I've said all I can say in an hour. I'm done. I'm shot. I'm finished. It's over. So I said I better bring somebody in here that can help the next hour. So Dr. Douglas Young, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me back. It is always a joy to be here. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Young is Professor Emeritus of Political Science, and he is a wealth of knowledge for me personally. I usually get on the phone or the text or the computer and ask him questions to make sure that I am correct, which I usually am, but sometimes he fills me in more exactly, so to speak. So I really appreciate his wisdom about many things. Now let me get to the text before I get to some conversation with Dr. Young. A text, one of our texters, Judy in Rest Haven. Thank you, Judy. She says, great analogy, Tom, of Iran being a cancer and President Trump being the chemo and the radiation treatment. Well, that's what I said earlier. Now, my wife is a cancer survivor, so I'm not treating it lightly. I know the seriousness of that, but I thought that was the best analogy I could make to you regarding Epic Fury. The Iranian regime is a cancer. It's a tumor. And for the last, since 1979, nearly every president have been saying what many doctors often say when they find a tumor in our body. Well, let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. I can't tell you how many men and women I've buried, and the last words they heard was from a doctor who said, well, let's watch it. Well, I don't use that lightly, but it's the best analogy I can make as to what's going on with Epic Fury. As Roosevelt would say, this wawa. And it is, okay, you have a tumor, let's watch it. The Iranian regime is a cancerous tumor. President Donald J. Trump is the radiation and the chemotherapy, and he is going to excise it. I hope he does. And Judy, thank you for that. And she said regarding the British Prime Minister's comment about we believe there needs to be negotiations. Well, where have you been, sir, for the last 47 years? We've had negotiations. We've had sanctions. We've had all kinds of appeasement. And what has that gotten us? It's gotten us where Iran has enough uranium now for about 11 dirty nuclear bombs at 60-degree purity rate. That's what's gotten us. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed that little segue there. And if you want to hear what I said as we came in at 9 o'clock this morning, I spent the first 45 minutes talking about the cancerous Iranian regime and the dumbest things, the most sensible things, the most frustrating things, the most pathetic things that have been said. You can go back and listen to that. Go to Access WDUN, and you can find it. Dr. Young.
Yes, sir.
Had a caller earlier ask about Islam. And I'm not turning this into some religious debate. I just want to know, in your experience and your expertise, is the tenets of Islam, as you know them, are they compatible with Western civilization as we are now living it and experiencing it?
I think so-called moderate Islam is compatible with Western civilization. I mean, we do have a lot of fine, law-abiding, conscientious, good Muslim Americans. I was blessed to teach many over the course of my teaching career, and they were good students, and they were well-adjusted to American culture. They celebrated American culture and American society. Now, none of those students was an Islamist, was someone who, to my knowledge, supported Sharia law. I do not believe that an Islamist, a fundamentalist Muslim, someone who supports Muslim Sharia law, I do not believe that that person is compatible with Western Judeo-Christian free democratic society, because fundamentalist Islam says there can be no separation between church and state. There can be no tolerance for any one who is not a Muslim. And so I think that just as there are many different types of Christians and Jews and Hindus, there are different types of Muslims as well.
So what do we do with our immigration policy when it comes to making sure that the immigrants we allow in understand the importance of assimilation and not isolation, as is going on in Minnesota with the Somalians,
right,
as is going on in Dearborn, Michigan with the Muslims? I mean, what can we do with our immigration policy that assure, I mean, in the past, I mean, way past history, you're a history professor, you know all this stuff. In the past, weren't there specific requirements to help people assimilate if they were going to become Americans?
Until the last few decades, it had long been America's history, America's culture, our policy that all immigrants to this country were expected to completely assimilate, to become part of the great American melting pot. And indeed, the American public school system, created in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, was largely designed, especially in big northern cities where you had very large populations of immigrants, first-generation immigrant children. The public schools were largely designed to assimilate them, to Americanize them. It's not a coincidence that we have the children recite the Pledge of Allegiance each day. It was not a coincidence that we had required Bible reading every day until the U.S. Supreme Court stripped schools of that right in the early 1960s. So historically, it was just accepted universally by Republicans and Democrats that we're all Americans and we can disagree about economic and other political issues, but we must all speak English. We must all accept the basic tenets of Western Judeo-Christian civilization and the principles of our great American founding fathers.
So from your perspective, your years of teaching and learning and writing, when and why did that change? I mean, what was the reasoning behind that?
Starting in the 1960s, American leftists started to preach that the melting pot is racist. I remember maybe about 10 years or so ago, a student of mine told me that his multicultural studies teacher told the class that the melting pot was white racism. That we were, in effect, leftists have believed for several decades now that assimilation, having people learn English and learn about the founding fathers and American traditions and to embrace them, that's to transform immigrants into this country into Oreos. They may be black or brown or yellow or red on the outside, but they're going to be white on the inside. And they regard that as sort of a form of domestic imperialism. And so it's not a coincidence that in the last few decades, leftists have promulgated what they call multiculturalism, saying that the melting pot is racist, that we have to have a multicultural society. Well, the problem with multiculturalism is there's never been a successful multicultural society in history. I mean, even our sweet Canadian neighbors to the north in the late 1980s, after so many years of Canadian multiculturalism, the Canadian premier has to speak in English, and then what he says in English, he has to repeat in French. Well, the Québécois, the French-speaking Quebecers, they've almost voted to secede. It was just barely under 50% in the late 1980s. And I'll never forget, back in the 1990s, during the Yugoslavian Civil War, when you had the Serbs fighting the Croats, fighting the Bosnians, I was blessed to meet a Yugoslavian gentleman in Athens, Georgia, where I lived at the time. And I'll never forget, he told me, he said, "You Americans are playing with fire with this multiculturalism because it ends up with what's happening in my country today in Yugoslavia."
Well, folks, this is I don't know why people can't hear and understand this. I don't get it. It has to do, I believe, with the ideology of the socialist Marxist and the left. I'm just telling you, great words. All right, we got a phone call. We'll go to that real quick. Thank you, Dr. Young. Great.
Sure.
We'll come back to this, but we'll take a phone call. Hello, welcome. You're on the Martha Zoller Show. I'm done fine, Chad. How are you? Okay. All right. I'm with you. Well, Chad, I think that there are several who certainly give the impression that they'd like to see that, and that's what we've been talking about. All right, we'll take a quick break. Now, Dr. Young, when we come back, I'm looking at an article, and the title of the article is High Schools Rethink How Teens Learn Money Skills. And we're going to talk about the state of education in some degree or the other.
Okay.
And specifically with this story and with some of your general thoughts. We'll be right back. I'm Tom Smiley filling in for Martha, Dr. Douglas Young. Google him if you want. Just Google Dr. Douglas Young. You'll find him. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
The Gainesville Red Elephants are undefeated still, and they are headed to the Class 5A Final Four.
It's the final step on the road to Macon. Gainesville faces Woodward in the semifinals today at 3 on 94.5 FM. The Lake.
Welcome back, people. I'm here with the one and only lottery-winning, pink-haired, 80-year-old rap sensation who just won $1 million every year for the rest of her life. And Edith.
Hi, darling. I'm just living out my dreams.
And dropping a new single.
I'll be a millionaire as long as pink's in my hair. Millionaire for what? Millionaire for life.
Ooh, your fans are gonna love that.
With $1 million every year, my bank account loves it too.
Get your chance to win $1 million every year for the rest of your life. Play the Millionaire for Life game, only from the Georgia Lottery. Please play responsibly. Always check and sign your ticket.
Got a scratcher that didn't win? Well, now you can play it once again. That's right. All non-winning scratchers at any price point can be entered to win the rolling jackpot. Visit GALottery.com for details and to enter. The rolling jackpot. Another way to win from the Georgia Lottery.
Tune in to WSB Channel 2 for your official Georgia Lottery drawing and check out the Players Club at GALottery.com.
For over 40 years, Eagle Ranch has helped thousands of children and families find healing and renewal. My name is John Shackelford, and I'm the Executive Director of Eagle Ranch. In 2021, our family felt a clear call to leave our life in Atlanta and come to steward the incredible legacy of the ranch into the future. The ranch continues to come alongside children and families through therapy, practical guidance, and resources, all anchored in the love of Christ. If you or someone you love needs a supportive, healing environment of Eagle Ranch, please encourage them to reach out to eagleranch.org.
Getting out of bed is easier when you have something to look forward to, especially if that something is a delicious Dairy Queen biscuit. Right now, you can get 2 homemade sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits at Dairy Queen for just $6.
We interrupt this commercial to let you know that the Mint Oreo Blizzard is now available at Dairy Queen. We now return you to your regularly scheduled commercial.
A new Blizzard flavor and a breakfast special? There's plenty to look forward to at Dairy Queen of Gainesville, Shallowford Road and Green Street, and Frontage Road in Oakwood. Breakfast available only at Gainesville locations. Blizzards available at all 3.
I'm Frank Norton with the Norton Agency. One thing I've learned in my 42 years in the real estate business is that Americans are not comfortable with haggling and negotiations. We're by and large not a bartering society, but we at Norton do that every day. Our professional advocates' number one priority is to get the buyer or seller the best price. You need Norton now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Gainesville's Public Safety Departments officially have a new state-of-the-art training complex available for multi-purpose use. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back. If you want to see what a retired former ex-preacher looks like, then you can go to YouTube, click on Access WDUN, and you get the live feed. And you can see for yourself what a retired former ex-preacher looks like. And you can also see what a retired Professor Emeritus looks like, because we have one of those in the studio as well. And so give him a wave there, Dr. Young. You old retired Professor Emeritus. Yeah, there you go. All right. We'll take a phone call because this kind of goes into the subject I want to talk about. You mentioned Sharia law just a moment ago.
Yes, sir.
So we have a caller that wants to talk about that, and then we'll get your comments. Welcome. You're listening to you're on the air. Thank you.
You're the best guest host ever.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I know how to start my comment.
There you go. You got that just brought you 40. That just got you 45 extra seconds.
Oh, thank you. I was watching Georgia Lawmakers a couple of nights ago on YouTube, and one of the senators, Mr. Dolezal, had proposed a Sharia-free Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a couple of Muslim senators who were upset about that, and I just wondered, didn't know we were about to have that problem here in Georgia like we were going to have it in Texas.
Well, Texas, that's a great call. Thank you. I'm going to let Dr. Young address some of that because I did do a segment a couple of weeks ago on Texas trying to pass that same kind of legislation. So, Dr. Young, do we need, you would think it would go without saying, but do we need to pass anti-Sharia laws in Georgia?
I'm not sure. By definition, if we adhere to the U.S. Constitution, of course Sharia law is inconceivable because Sharia law is a complete destruction of our separation between church and state. It's a complete dismantling of the First Amendment. So long as we adhere to the U.S. Constitution, we should not need a specific law stating we're not going to have Sharia law. It's inconceivable that Sharia law and the U.S. Constitution can coexist. And I'm concerned that if we have a specific law passed by the Georgia General Assembly targeting one particular type of religious law as being illegal, the courts might say that is violating the First Amendment because that is tantamount to the government being prejudiced against one particular religion. Someone could say, well, hey, we wouldn't allow fundamentalist Christian or fundamentalist Jewish or Hindu law to prevail over U.S. constitutional law. But on the other hand, we never thought that we needed to say that marriage was between one man and one woman throughout history.
Or that there are only two genders.
Exactly, right. So I don't know. If a threat arises in Georgia, if we start to see a movement to impose Sharia law, maybe it might become necessary.
I just find it hard to believe. Now I don't know about the folks in Minneapolis. It's so cold up there. I think some of their brains freeze. But I cannot believe. Take it where I come from, Gum Branch, Georgia. I just know who lives there. And if you start going into Gum Branch, Georgia, trying to take away the constitutional rights of my family members in Gum Branch, Georgia, and imposing on them some type of Sharia law, there's going to be an uprising. There will be injuries and killings because there's just enough of American pride that you're not going to put up with it. So how in the world do these communities allow that? Like Dearborn, Michigan, I don't understand it.
Well, Dearborn has become a mostly Muslim community, and the mayor of Dearborn at a city council meeting openly, publicly, behind a microphone, told a non-Muslim constituent who expressed some concern about what the local government was doing, the mayor said, "You are not welcome in our community." and by definition, Sharia law, which is strict fundamentalist Islamic law, is intolerant of anything but a fundamentalist Islamic belief and practice. And of course, the U.S. Constitution is the most tolerant law in the world regarding freedom and democracy. And so the two systems are completely incompatible.
We'll come back. We'll take a break in a minute. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask Dr. Young, we've got a couple of minutes, so you can answer it now if you are start. How is it that women, especially progressive women, some who might be listening to me right now, are not all up in arms about what's going on in Iran and not just so thankful that millions of women in Iran have the potential to be free from this regime, but yet we don't see them protesting?
It is quite ironic, to put it mildly, that so many American feminists seem to be far more upset about the proper use of gender pronouns, and they want men and boys to be able to compete with women and girls in sports, but they seem to be totally silent when it comes to what liberal Democrat Bill Maher, I think, correctly points out is the biggest source of oppression in the world, which is the oppression of women, especially in Muslim societies. Women in most Muslim societies do not enjoy anywhere remotely the basic rights that Western Judeo-Christian women take for granted. And yet Western feminists are almost entirely silent about these horrific human rights abuses that exist throughout so much of the third world, particularly in the Muslim world.
I just can't see the disconnect that these women have when it comes to not recognizing the danger that millions of women are in when it comes to radical Islamic rule and Sharia law, and how they're not. I mean, you had all these women protesting, ICE going into the communities to remove pedophiles and assaulters and robbers and rapists and et cetera, protesting the death of 2 American civilians, but yet nobody's protesting the tens of thousands of civilians killed, many of them women, in Iran. We'll be back. We'll talk more about that with Dr. Douglas Young, my special guest. You're listening to The Martha Zoller Show.
Spring is knocking, and that lawn is not going to cut itself. Get ready to mow smarter with Exmark mowers from Howard Brothers. With Exmark, you get durability, precision, and performance you can count on season after season. And at Howard Brothers, they've got the expert advice, trusted service, and equipment that works as hard as you do. Stop by Howard Brothers today or visit howardbrothers.com and power your spring with an Exmark mower.
All right, fellas, 2 words for you. Prostate exam. Did your butt just clench up? Are you imagining the finger right now? Well, you can relax. Prostate cancer screening starts with a simple, finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. But that's no reason to reclench. When caught early, at localized or even regional stage, prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate. Did your tight end just relax? Good. If you're 40 or older and have a prostate, visit RelaxIt'sABloodTest.com to find out if a PSA blood test is right for you. The PSA blood test can be the first step in screening. Talk to your doctor to evaluate your risk, determine when to get tested, and discuss screening options and next steps. That's RelaxIt'sABloodTest.com. Sponsored by Novartis.
3 straight for Tyler Reddick. He gets it done here in Austin, Texas.
I don't know how many times I've won 3 in a row as a racer in general in my lifetime, so I'll try to go to Phoenix and make it 4.
Will he make it a 4, Pete? We'll find out at the Straight Talk Wireless 500 in Phoenix, Sunday at 2:30 on North Georgia's home of NASCAR. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. President Trump spells out the terms for the war with Iran.
He posted to Truth Social, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leader or leaders, we and many of our wonderful and brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House, a nightmare economic report for February. No jobs created.
92,000 jobs lost last month. Unemployment rises to 4.4%. And then the prior 2 months revised lower by a combined 69,000. Even healthcare is starting to slow.
That's Fox Business' Lauren Simonetti. And Brent crude trades over $90 a barrel for the first time since 2024. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. This just in from the Hall County Sheriff's Office, where Chief Deputy Kevin Head has released a statement regarding current operations at the agency. This following the arrest of Hall County Sheriff Gerald Couch 1 week ago for alleged driving under the influence. In a statement Friday, Head said the agency continues to operate normally and remains committed to the community, with him overseeing operations at this time. He also explained any decision regarding the suspension from office falls under the authority of the governor, and that his office has been notified of the arrest. A full statement is on Access WDUN. City of Gainesville Public Safety Departments now have a modern, state-of-the-art training complex. WDUN's Lawson Smith with more.
The City of Gainesville's leaders and dignitaries held a ribbon-cutting ceremony Monday to celebrate the official grand opening of its new public safety training complex. Police Chief Jay Parrish, Fire Chief Brandon Ellis, and City Manager Brian Lackey joined the city councilors and groups behind the complex's construction in opening the Fluenwinder Road facility at the Gainesville 85 Business Park.
And any bills being considered by Georgia lawmakers will need to pass at least one chamber by today in order to stay alive this season, as today is crossover day with the Georgia General Assembly. Full details and more news at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good morning, North Georgia. Partly to mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms expected this afternoon. It's going to be a warm one, 80 degrees. Scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms tonight, low 60s by early tomorrow. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Clayton, currently 68 degrees. Decula already 72. And in Gainesville, 70 degrees. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Hi, this is Cal Cooley with Electronic Sales Company, and joining me today is Charlie Bramwell, Director of Interactive Neighborhood for Kids, better known as INC around here. When we help move your burglar alarm, fire alarm, cameras, and all the other things, I had no idea how impressive and big INC has become. Where's your new location?
We moved to Oakwood, the center of Oakwood.
Got anything special coming up?
Yes, sir. We have several new exhibits coming in within the next month or two. The Department of Transportation is putting in some roads for us. We're talking to the FAA about bringing some monitors in so kids can actually see real-life flights. We have an extremely nice train exhibit. And yesterday, we was donated a train console from an actual train. We're going to refurbish it and put it next to the train exhibit so kids can actually be the train conductor and move levers and valves.
I am so excited. Everybody, you need to go down there to INC in Oakwood.
Your community partner in protection, Electronic Sales Company. See them today online at electronicsalesco.com.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. Tom Smiley filling in for Martha today. She'll be back with you on Monday. And Dr. Douglas Young, my guest, Professor Emeritus, wealth of knowledge, and I hope that you're paying attention to this man because he has a wealth of wisdom for you and for me.
Well,
Check
you're
him
very
out.
kind. Thank you.
Yeah, just go Google Douglas Young. A couple of texts real quick. This is the text 4784 number. I think better than the chemotherapy analogy, Trump and the military are surgeons. Cut it out and get it all. Okay, that's good. I can go with that. Yeah. Sometimes chemotherapy and radiation takes a while, and sometimes the old surgical technique, which is what I prefer, just cut it out. If somebody always asks, if they found a tumor in you, what would you want to do? I say, cut it out.
Like with Maduro.
Yeah, like with Maduro. Just get it out. So thank you for that. Thank you for, by the way, a texter says here, this is a 6912 number. This gets texter of the day because they said something very complimentary about me, which I won't say over the air, but thank you for that nice compliment. Also, this texter goes on to say that they do thank God for the leadership of President Trump, but cannot imagine what a Kamala Harris, Tim Walz White House might look like.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. So thank you for that. This is a 9043 number. This person says, I hate to see what we're having to endure. I hate to see the high gas prices, the economic fallout, but what Trump and Israel have done was way overdue. I agree. Trump is already making some good actions. Many want to second guess a Monday morning quarterback, but our president decided to seize the moment. Good. Thank you so much. Dr. Young, what's the future? There are 93 million people in Iran.
Right.
If just 10% of them are these radical thug Shiites, that's a lot of people. 9 million. That's 9 million. They have the guns.
Right.
Apart from a civil war where the people just finally rise up and kick them all out, but there's going to be a lot of killing if that happens. I mean, a lot of killing because the Shiites are not going to go peacefully. If you think the Shiites are going to lay down their arms, you're a lunatic. Just like if you think Hamas, has Hamas laid down their arms in Gaza yet? No, they haven't.
Or the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Taliban in Afghanistan, they're not. They have to be completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. And you know what? If you don't have the stomach for it, then you shouldn't be in that business because they've got to be completely destroyed. I hope Trump will. But Dr. Young, from history's perspective, outside of just a strong civil war, I mean, there's not a whole lot of hope. I mean, we can take care of the rockets and the missile launchers and the drones. We can set them back, but without a real change, we'll have to go back in 10 years and do it again.
I'll tell you, I'm ambivalent about this war. On the one hand, I desperately hope and pray for a total American victory so that the Iranian people can finally, after 47 years of horrific tyranny, have a government remotely as good as they are. I've been so impressed with the Iranians I've known. And I believe that clearly you can make a strong case that we are right to engage in this war because you've got the Iranian regime of the last 47 years has been the biggest promoter of terrorism in the history of the world. And we've suffered so badly at the hands of this regime with the hostage crisis of 1979 to 81. The Iranians bombed the Marine barracks in 1983 in October of that year in Lebanon, in Beirut, killing 241 Americans. They bombed the Khobar Towers. They've committed so much terrorism against all kinds of countries around the world. They want to annihilate Israel. They chant death to America. I think that President Trump can make a strong case that, look, we have already set their nuclear weapons program back by many more years. We've wiped out so many, if not most, of their ballistic missiles. And it would be fantastic if the Iranian people could have a really good government that no longer oppresses them so terribly and terrorizes the rest of the world. And I do have more faith that President Trump will see this war to final victory than I would have in any other president in my lifetime. I'm 64. Having said that, as a 64-year-old, I have very painful memories of our disaster in Vietnam, our disaster in Lebanon, our failed military policies in Syria and Libya, our disaster in Iraq, our absolute catastrophe in Afghanistan. And just because we believe we're on the side of the angels doesn't mean that we're going to prevail. And so often, with the best of intentions, when we have gone militarily into other countries, we have only unintentionally made things much worse. And I believe that to an enormous extent, every single government throughout the world is the inevitable byproduct of its nation's history, religion, culture, and geography. And wow, you look at how complicated Iraq is with the Kurds to the north, the Sunnis in the middle, the Shias to the south, and you look at how complicated Afghanistan is with all of its tribes. Well, newsflash, Iran is a heck of a lot more complicated. It's a whole lot bigger. It's the size of Alaska, way, way bigger than Iraq. And Alaska is the size is 4 times the size of Texas. And with Iran, you've got so many, as you correctly point out, fanatical Shiite Muslims who support the regime there. But then you've got so many young, more secular people who hate it. And that's a very divided society. And unfortunately, as you point out, the folks with all the guns are the ones supporting the Shiite regime in Tehran. So it's a mess.
This is why I think that what Iran, and I said this earlier, Dr. Young, I think Iran is just going to try to wait us out. The present regime. They're just going to try to wait, because there's no sensible way they think they can win. So they're going to hide and wait us out. They're going to hide in their caves. They're going to try to hide, their munitions. They're going to try their best to secure what they can.
Like the Taliban did in Afghanistan.
Hoping and believing that, okay, in a little while they'll be gone, like they were gone in Afghanistan, like they were gone in Iraq, like they were gone, the Americans will be gone, or a new administration will I mean, just think about it. In November, which is just a few months away, Dr. Young.
Right.
Listen to me. In November, if the Senate flips and the House flips, Trump's gone. He's impeached. He's history. And a new president, they're waiting. They're waiting for a more appeasing president, because that's what they've enjoyed over all these years since 1979. So the best hope I have is we can annihilate their munitions and their rockets and their drones to the point that they can't be a threat anymore to Israel or the people around them until they start building it up again.
I think that the mullahs in Tehran are banking on the American left protesting. I mean, they know history. They know that a big reason we lost in Vietnam was because of the opposition, the anti-war movement in this country. The anti-war movement in this country also pushed us out of Iraq and Afghanistan. And so the Iranians are playing a long game. And remember, when we're talking about Iran or Persia, we're talking about a civilization that is thousands and thousands of years old. It's important to remember, we're coming up on our 250th birthday on Independence Day, July 4th. I mean, in the family of nations, we're an infant. Mm-hmm. And so, we're a very impatient people. And on the plus side, the American people, we want things done right now. And that can be good. But on the downside, we're so impatient. If we don't have victory really fast, we want to get out.
Well, I mean, you got Democrats leaving the briefing talking about an endless war, and it's 7 days old.
Right.
What endless war? We are not in an endless war right now. Now, come back in 6 months, and we'll talk about an endless war. It's been 7 days. How can it be an endless war? All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with some concluding comments and also some phone calls and text. This is Tom Smiley filling in for Martha with Dr. Douglas Young, my friend. 770-535-2911. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
From the twists and turns of COTA to the 1 mile oval of Phoenix, the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series continues with the GovX 200. Coverage from the Desert Jewel begins Saturday at 7 on FM 102.9 WDUN.
Hey, Daddy, what's in a crawl space?
That's a good question, Annie. I'm Cody Lovin with Crawl Space Medic. Musty smells, dampness, and sagging insulation means your crawl space or basement might need some attention. Our team quickly finds and fixes moisture problems, updates moisture barriers, and resolves structural issues, ensuring your home stays dry and comfortable. Don't let your crawl space problems affect your comfort, air quality, or property value. Visit crawlspaceMedic.com.
A healthy home starts from the ground up.
This is Mike Martin of Milton Martin Toyota. Luke 16:11 says, "If therefore you have not been faithful in the use of worldly wealth, who will entrust the true riches to you?" Milton Martin Toyota has found the services of Crown Financial Ministries in Gainesville to be a valuable resource for practical learning and application of God's Word and its teaching on stewardship. Crown Financial Ministries assists those who are determined to be good stewards of the many gifts God gives them, including their time and their family. Crown Financial Ministries can assist you with life planning and managing financial resources as well. For more information on Crown Financial Ministries, please call them at 1-800-722-1976 or their website is www.crown.org. This message has been brought to you by the staff of Milton Martin Toyota. Our website is miltonmartintoyota.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, an apartment fire Wednesday night in Norcross has displaced 16 residents. Details at Access WDUN. More news coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
All right, Martha is good, Martha is fine, and Martha will be back Monday. So I know you look forward to her being back with you on Monday. I'm Tom Smiley filling in today. And by the way, I'll be back next Friday. It's scheduled, so unless I get the hook, next Friday I'll be back as well. Dr. Douglas Young has been with me. I brought him in here at 10 o'clock. I shot all I had in the first hour, so I need to bring in an expert. But man, it's so good to have you.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Gosh, these are so complicated issues.
Yes.
And part of me, Doug, wants to say, I wish Trump had never brought up anything about regime change.
Right.
I just wish he had just said, here's our two objectives. We've got to destroy their nuclear capability, and we've got to destroy their munitions program.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bomb the heck out of them until we're going to bomb their factories and their manufacturing in their caves and all that kind of stuff. We're going to bomb the heck out of them so that we could kill all the drones, all the ballistic missiles, all the short-term missiles, long-term. We're going to bomb that, and we're going to make sure they can't develop a nuclear weapon, and then we'll leave. And if we have to go back in 5 years, we'll just have to go back.
Right.
But he brought up that regime change, which you and I know is a tough nut to crack.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic about it, but outside of a real, legitimate, hardcore civil war between the radical Shiites who are just got their thumb pressed upon the hearts and minds of the people.
Right.
I don't know if there's going to be any potential regime change.
I think loads of Americans in both major parties cringe at the term regime change because we remember the disaster in Iraq and we remember the catastrophe in Afghanistan. We have, to be fair, some examples of successful regime change that we orchestrated in Germany, Italy, and Japan after World War II. But I think those are the exceptions, you could argue. In Germany and Italy, we had two brother Western Judeo-Christian civilizations. We had a lot of commonality with them. There was a lot of common history. Now, in Japan, though, wow, the Japanese had a radically different Shinto religion and culture and history, and yet we were able to create sort of a mini Japanese America, if you will, over there that's been extraordinarily successful. So there is precedent for doing it successfully. But as you say, it is very, very hard. And we've gotten off to a great start. I have no memory of ever reading about any war in history where the entire leadership class of the enemy was wiped out in the first few days.
Can you imagine what could have happened in Germany with Hitler if we had killed Hitler and his top 40,
Goering, right.
his top 40. Yeah. All right, I want to shift gears real quickly, about 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe bring you back next week to talk about this, but I want to know about Cuba. I want to know about Cuba. I want to know, I know it's been lost recently in all of this discussion about Iran, but we hear Cuba is going to fall because they can't get the oil, their economy's in shambles, et cetera, and et cetera. What's your take on Cuba? What could happen there historically from your perspective?
I may be sounding like a worrisome old man, but I remember when I was a young man 30 years ago in the early 1990s, in the wake of the fall of the Soviet Union and the loss of Soviet support for the Castro regime, there was a lot of talk that, Castro is going to fall, and it didn't happen. Here we are over 30 years later. The communist regime now in Cuba has been there since the Eisenhower administration in 1959. When you have an island nation like Cuba, it's easier, I think, for a dictatorship to stay in control because you don't have immigrants coming in, you don't have people crossing borders, and there's, of course, total gun control in Cuba. So it's possible that the regime could be overthrown, but I wouldn't bet on it. Also, it's important to remember that I think to such a great extent, most of the Cubans who wanted to leave have long left.
Yeah.
The Cubans who are left are people who either support the regime or, they were always poor. So it's... I'm just not as optimistic. I think that the Cuban regime there, the communists have proven that they can stay in power through very tough times.
Yeah, I heard someone say that if the Democrats really wanted to be real smart, they would really move toward the fall of Cuba. So all the Republican Cubans in Miami would leave, go back to Cuba, and then maybe the Democrats could win Florida.
I don't know how many Cuban Americans would really go back.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. I think that most all of them have become so assimilated, so Americanized. I'm skeptical that many would go back. And the thing is, as evil as I believe the communist regime in Cuba has been, to be fair, it has done a lot for racial equality in Cuba, and most of the Cubans who are left in Cuba are non-white, and so I think a lot of them see the regime as being more supportive of them, more supportive of equal rights. Now, I still think that a majority of the Cubans who are in Cuba today would like to see the government liberalized, would like to see a lot more freedom, a lot more democracy. But we've now had 67 years of communist rule there. I mean, there are very few Cubans in Cuba who have any memory of what life was like before it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Fulgencio Batista dictatorship before Castro was not a democracy and was not a free society.
But you've always said, though, one thing you've always taught me is that usually when something is replaced, it's replaced with the same or the worst.
Yes. I mean, America, we have the only revolution in history that replaced the pre-revolutionary regime with a regime that was much better. If you look at almost all the other revolutions of history, the post-revolutionary government was even worse.
Yeah, that's so amazing to me, and that's such a wealth of information. All right, well, when I come back next week, I may bring you back to talk about Cuba and Venezuela, China, because I don't think people are giving Trump enough credit, and I don't know whether he's backed into it or if it was planned. But what he's done with the Venezuela oil in regards to China, what he's done with now the Iranian potential oil issues and China, I mean, he has kind of put China in a box. And I don't know if he meant to do that or if it was like, oh, look what we found. I don't know. But this whole Venezuela and Iran aspect of what's taking place now with our foreign policy really looks like it's helping us in regards to China.
China has gotten an enormous share of its oil from Iran and Venezuela. And wow,
at a cheaper price.
Yes. And now, I mean, if the Trump administration is able to cut off that oil to China, that is going to hurt significantly a Chinese economy that is already ailing.
And so maybe they'll have to buy their oil from us.
That's possible too, and that depends on whether President Trump would be willing to sell it.
I thought it was real rich that the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said yesterday that China is coming to Iran. They're going to try to mediate this circumstance because they know that conflict is not the answer to resolving issues. Well, have you heard about the Uyghurs? I mean, what about that conflict? Millions of Uyghurs killed and destroyed by the Chinese government. It's not really. They don't have a good history, a good record of human rights in China.
To be fair, in the post-Mao era, Mao died in September of 1976. Since Deng Xiaoping in the late 70s, the Chinese government's human rights record is far, far better than it used to be. China is no longer has a totalitarian government. It's an authoritarian regime. It's more of a traditional dictatorship. The Chinese people today actually enjoy, I would say, more freedom and democracy than they've ever enjoyed. They do have democracy at the local level to some extent, and they have become much more westernized than ever. When I have traveled in China, I have been able to go and worship in Christian churches without being followed, without being harassed. So things are much better there.
We're going to talk about that some more. Maybe next week I'll bring you back and we can talk about China, Venezuela, Cuba, and et cetera. But until then, folks,